Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a juvenile faces charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He's accused of shooting someone during an argument.
Authorities are investigating a shooting at an H-E-B store in Houston.
And former President Donald Trump is charged with 4 counts in connection with his effort to subvert the will of voters in 2020.
Another triple-digit day. Yes, we made it up to 100 degrees today. Not a lot of change in sight, unfortunately for us. So we're going to have to keep doing whatever we're doing to survive the summer of 23. We'll have more in your forecast coming up.
Jurors in the A.J. Armstrong Jr. capital murder trial heard from Houston police who responded to the scene on the night his parents were found shot to death in 2016. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon. Thank you for being with us. I'm James Munoz.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
Tuesday night around 6:15, Victoria police were in the 700 block of Loma Vista Avenue. Officers say a 16-year-old and a 24-year-old man, Gabriel Tomes, got into an argument when the juvenile shot Tomes. Tomes was taken to the hospital and is expected to make a full recovery. That juvenile is now charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
While an off-duty Victoria police officer was washing his vehicle at a local car Tuesday night, he saw a man breaking into one of those coin-operated machines. The man is identified as 22-year-old John Canales. He was arrested and faces charges of burglary of a coin-operated machine and unlawful use of a criminal instrument.
Today marks 5 years since Susie Escobedo was reported missing. Community and family members are still looking for answers. A press conference with LULAC is set for 11 a.m. August 12th at Seadrift's City Hall Civic Center, 702 Bay Avenue, Bayside Pavilion. The mother of 2, including an infant, was 27 when she went missing. Her sister reported finding blood on the carpet of the RV Susie was staying in. We'll hear from Susie's sister tonight on 25 News Now at 10. Victoria police and first responders worked a 4-vehicle crash this afternoon around 1:30. It happened at the intersection of Sam Houston and East Mockingbird Lane. Authorities say an SUV failed to yield the right-of-way during its turn and hit a car. That sent that car into another SUV. A juvenile had to go to the hospital with a head injury. His condition is unknown. All right, let's check in with First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez. Mac, ready for fall here.
I'm going to return my title of Chief Meteorologist because I haven't been able to do anything for you.
You can't.
Than commiserate over the crime of this heat. Not a lot of hope. In fact, I'm expecting us to get these temperatures of the next 3-4 weeks. It's not till mid-September that I see a real change. So 101 was our actual high today, 104 out in San Angelo. We'll see, take a look around the world, see what else is going on other than the blazing heat. Coming up in just a minute, so back to you.
Mac, thank you. Former President Donald Trump faces 4 criminal counts in the special counsel's probe into his efforts to overturn the 2020 election and his actions related to the January 6th Capitol riot.
Many Republicans are slamming the indictments as a political attack.
Special counsel Jack Smith indicting former President Donald Trump again.
The indictment was issued by a grand jury of citizens here in the District of Columbia, and it sets forth the crimes charged in detail.
Trump already pleaded not guilty in response to Smith's indictment in the Mar-a-Lago classified records probe in June. Now Trump is facing 4 new felony counts in Smith's investigation into an alleged scheme by Trump and co-conspirators to keep him in the White House, even though they knew he lost the election to Joe Biden. The indictment also accusing Trump of creating fake electors in 7 states, trying to compel the Justice Department to hold sham election crime investigations, pressuring Vice President Pence to reject legitimate electoral votes, and ultimately sending his supporters to the Capitol to obstruct the certification proceeding and exert pressure on the vice president. Congressman Jamie Raskin served on the committee that investigated the Capitol attack.
This does feel like a huge vindication of the rule of law and the work of the January 6th committee to establish the factual narrative of what took place in the attempt to overthrow a presidential election by a president.
Across the aisle, Republican House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is denouncing this latest indictment as an attack on Trump, whom he calls the Republican presidential frontrunner. Trump's nearest opponent, Ron DeSantis, appearing to agree on Fox.
A D.C. jury would indict a ham sandwich and convict a ham sandwich if it was a Republican ham sandwich.
Trump has long denied any wrongdoing. He's now set for arraignment tomorrow in D.C. District Court. ABC News has learned he will not be handcuffed and will not have a mugshot taken, but will have his fingerprints taken digitally. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
On the second day of the Antonio A.J. Armstrong Jr. capital murder trial, jurors heard from the Houston police officers who responded to the 2016 scene on the night his parents were found shot to death. KHOU reports officers had found no signs of an intruder breaking into the Southwest Houston home. One officer also testified he didn't see any blood on Armstrong Jr. when he had the then 16-year-old in custody for more than 5 hours. Tuesday, jurors saw text messages between Armstrong, his parents, and his girlfriend in the 3 months leading up to that murder.
I think it's twofold. First of all, it shows the lies A.J. Armstrong was telling his parents in the months leading up to these murders. But the more important thing is how much his family, in responding to him via text message, had faith in this alarm system in challenging his statements that he didn't leave the house at night. I think that's a critical fact that we all know has been central to these trials as we've gone on.
Armstrong's defense countered, saying the prosecution only showed the bad texts. If Armstrong is convicted, he could face a life sentence with eligibility for parole after 40 years. Shots fired inside a grocery store Tuesday afternoon sent shoppers and employees running for the exits. This was the scene at a Houston area H-E-B after a fight between two men. The man who fired the shots and the person who was targeted took off. Authorities say the shooting suspect turned himself in. Harris County Sheriff's deputies are still working to track down the other person for questioning.
There was two adult males in there that were they were involved in a disturbance, a verbal disturbance that escalated, where one of them pulled out a gun and discharged his firearm towards the other male. Both of them fled the scene. There was nobody injured, and the shooter went to one of our substations and turned himself in, and we have him right now detained.
So the suspect's identity was not released.
Texas has 2 new laws to address street racing and street takeovers after today's signing ceremony. One gives law enforcement and prosecutors more power to crack down on such events. It takes effect September 1st. The other, in place now, allows the immediate removal and impounding of vehicles used in street takeovers. Those are when a group of spectators blocks an intersection with vehicles so drivers can perform stunts like donuts. The bill signing was in Fort Worth, which saw a street takeover just last month. Here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Port Lavaca Wave. Captain Stephen Gibson retires after serving 46 years as a ship pilot, as the longest tenured pilot in the state of Texas. And the Calhoun County ISD Board of Trustees held a meeting discussing the school budget process. Plus, the Port Lavaca City Council discussed the 2023-2024 capital improvement plan that detailed use of the city funds for the future. You can read these stories and more at theportlavacawave.com.
For many students in our area, school starts August 9th. Telemundo Victoria and Crossroads Today want to help. Come out to Toyota of Victoria this Saturday for our back to school backpack giveaway. Crossroads Today will hand out free backpacks courtesy of Telemundo Victoria to children. Come by from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's while supplies last. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5, a jury sentenced the Tree of Life synagogue shooter Robert Bowers to death.
Also ahead, 300 hospitals in the U.S. have lost childbirthing units over the past 5 years. Pittsburgh has sentenced Tree of Life synagogue shooter Robert Bowers to death. The unanimous decision had 10 hours of deliberation over 2 days. The verdict indicates the jury didn't buy the defense's argument that Bowers has schizophrenia or delusional beliefs. They say he knew what he was doing was wrong and had the capacity to stop himself. Bowers was previously convicted of murdering 11 worshipers and wounding 6 others in 2018. This is the first death sentence under the Biden administration.
About 300 hospitals have shut down their childbirth units in the past 5 years. New analysis from the March of Dimes shows about 1 in 10 women who gave birth last year lived more than 40 minutes from a birthing hospital. The report indicates more than a third of U.S. counties are what it calls in maternity care deserts. The issue affects rural areas the most. 8 counties in Texas have that designation. The organization says demand for care in Texas has increased since abortion restrictions took effect. The March of Dimes analysis shows 2 area counties, Goliad and Refugio, are considered maternity care deserts. In the study, Calhoun, Jackson, Matagorda, and Wharton counties are considered to have low access to maternity care.
Here's your Vera poll this afternoon. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you know someone who had trouble accessing a hospital for childbirth? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6.
A recent poll shows approval of the Supreme Court is still at record lows. Approval for the High Court stood at 40%. The poll was conducted in July after the justices made decisions on affirmative action, student loan forgiveness, and voting rights. The court's approval rating has remained steady since late 2021, when it allowed a restrictive Texas abortion law to stand. As for Justice Clarence Thomas and his ethics disputes, Americans appear divided. 39% view him positively and 42% view him negatively. The hobby of coloring is gaining popularity among adults.
Yeah, and it's not just for fun either. Health experts say it can help improve your mental health.
From flower designs to patterns, it's a trend that's taken off. Coloring isn't just for kids.
It can be good for anyone across all age groups.
Cleveland Clinic clinical psychologist Adam Borland says this hobby has become increasingly popular for adults and is actually a healthy distraction. He says coloring can reduce stress, improve sleep, which may boost energy levels.
Basically, what coloring is a mindfulness activity. It can be meditative. It prioritizes emotional presence. And anytime we can find activities like that, it's wonderful, because we live in a highly stressful world. And I think this could be a very nice distraction.
Now found in a variety of themes, Borland says coloring books can be an inexpensive tool to help adults relax.
It's so easy to get caught up in social media and being on our phones and the 24-hour news cycle, that when we can take a step away and just do something fun and potentially nostalgic, it can really have wonderful effects on our mood.
Whether it's with friends or alone, Borland says coloring can also help unleash your creativity.
You can just sit back, take out your colored pencils, your crayons, listen to some music, and enjoy a fun and relaxing activity.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
Lizzo is facing a harassment lawsuit. 3 former dancers claim they were subject to a hostile work environment and harassment while they were members on her dance team. Her production company and person described as a dance captain were named in the lawsuit. Among the claims, one plaintiff said she was encouraged to, quote, take turns touching the nude performers, unquote, while at a club and a tour in February. Lizzo is known for her uplifting messages and for advocating for body positivity as part of her main work. Now, here are some of the top headlines you can read in the Cuero Record. DeWitt County sex offender Alberto Gutierrez sentenced to life in prison. And Cuero's Jacob Baker named as first team relief pitcher for Class 4A All-State team. Plus, the Cuero Library holds an end of the summer bash. You can read these stories and more at DeWittCountyToday.com.
The Texas Tribune has a story about the members of a Lufkin church being safely relocated to Rome after they were stuck in a Niger during a coup. This is also available on crossroadstoday.com.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. You probably noticed it. Another hot day over the crossroads. 101 in Victoria, 99 in Port Lavaca, 103 in Gonzales. You might have also known something kind of different. You know, the temperature could be 98, but the humidity could be much higher. And so the heat index is high, even though the temperature came down. It's a little one of those quirky little things. But as we get into this week, there's a glimmer. I mean, that much glimmer of hope that we'll have a shower or two popping up. We'll be talking about that and taking a look at the world oceans coming up in a moment. Welcome back, everybody. I've got a photo here to show you. This was in Bastrop, Texas, not far from Austin. This fire took off yesterday, and today it is 60% contained, but it's still out there. And the thing was that in this area, Bastrop County, which is not far from Lockhart or Luling, they actually had 2 more wildfires take off. So Texas Forest Service is just telling everybody to be cautious and careful. Now, you know, one thing is a cigarette, but another thing is just a pickup truck in the high grass that's already dried out. So we should all be very cautious because the prairies can take off on us. Not a drop in the sky in terms of precipitation around the area today, and all of our area of Texas, you can see just bone dry. There is a plume of tropical moisture down here in the Gulf, and you see how it's sort of moving toward us, or at least the coastal area. So I'm optimistic that in the next couple days we'll have just enough humidity around here to maybe pop 1 or 2 little showers. Now this is less than a 20% chance, but it's the only chance we have. So there is a chance, you know what I mean? Anyway, across West Texas, the monsoon rains continue. Look pretty good there in New Mexico, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and over into the mountains of northern Arizona. This is good stuff for them. You know, this time of the season, again, any kind of precipitation for us, it just does not look good. Looking at today's high temperatures observed across the state, looking at 101 in Houston and even 100 even down in Brownsville, 105 in Laredo. The chances of any change, and I wasn't kidding when I said that, really, I'm looking at mid-September, is about 6 weeks from now. And the reason for that is by that time the sun starts to drop lower on the horizon, so we get less incoming solar radiation. And this high is just not going to go away. It's basically stuck on top of us. And it's not just us. It's, as I mentioned, it's North America, Northern Hemispheric summer. So everybody, even places like the deserts, are recording, let's see, was Iraq had a 126-degree temperature this afternoon, so they're dealing with it just as much as we are. The dome is still forecast to move slightly to the west over the next couple of days. That's why I'm optimistic that by the time we get to the weekend, I mean, it's not a huge chance, but it's, 10%, 20% that we'll get a little sprinkle activity here. Some of it will come around the ridge, some of it will come off the Gulf. Basically, we just need to increase the amount of humidity in the area in order to pop something during the afternoons. But I'm grasping for straws, folks. I'm grasping for straws. Just want to remind everybody that we continue with the Stage 3 water conservation. What does that mean? Well, the river levels of the Guadalupe are down to 4.5 feet. Okay, that's it. So the goal is for all of us to reduce our usage by 10%. And we can do this really by just not being wasteful. Sprinklers are only allowed on your designated watering day. So that all depends on your street and your address and all that stuff. Decorative fountains, as long as there's no fish in them, you can turn them off. Leaks should be fixed immediately. I know the plumbers are busy, but that's important. They're cutting back on water service at the restaurant. That means you got to ask for it in order for them to give it to you. High tomorrow, 96 in Port Lavaca. High tomorrow in the Cuero area, even 100. And for all of us in the Crossroads, we'll be dealing with, right there at 99 to 100. So what I was trying to say earlier is that it may go down a degree or two, but that doesn't mean that the heat index will go any lower. So by the time we get to the weekend, I'm optimistic we'll have a 5, maybe 6, hopefully an 8% chance of a shower or two around the area. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Would love for you to scan that and put Crossroads Today right on your phone. James, Karina, back to you.
Thank you, Mac. We're going to take a look at your stocks next. Plus, America's incandescent light bulb ban goes into effect.
Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow down 349 points, the S&P 500 losing 63 points, and the Nasdaq off 311 points. Oil down $1.88, closing at $79.49 a barrel. America's ban on incandescent light bulbs was a long time coming. The rule was issued in 2007 but rolled back by the Trump administration. It was updated last year by the Biden administration and bans the sale of most of these light bulbs. The rule now requires light bulbs to emit a minimum of 45 lums of light per watt. This is meant to increase overall energy efficiency, save consumers money on their utility bills, and cut planet-warming carbon emissions.
ADP's monthly employment report shows the U.S. private sector added more jobs than expected in July. The report shows private sector companies added 324,000 jobs. The private sector is made up of businesses and organizations not government owned. The report shows the job gains were mostly in the leisure and hospitality fields, with financial and manufacturing industries reporting losses. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is set to release its July jobs report on Friday.
Stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast. Plus, a 16-year-old teen in Florida was pulled over for driving 132 miles per hour on the highway. You to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon, Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and on your cell phone. Just search Crossroads Today Plus.
A teen in Orlando had a need for speed. This happened back in January, but authorities released the video as a warning to other speeders. An Orange County Sheriff's Corporal pulled over a 16-year-old for going 132 miles an hour on a highway. The teen had to call his dad to come pick him up. He was given a speeding ticket, which requires a court appearance. So in the video, the officer told the driver if he was 18, he would have arrested him and taken him straight to jail on charges of reckless driving, speeding. And speeding is a real danger, so slow down and make sure you fasten your seatbelt.
135 miles per hour.
What kind of vehicle was he in? Because my car can't go that fast.
I don't know, but I hope he was in big trouble with Dad.
Oh,
man,
Dad
grounded for life.
took his car away for sure.
Jeez.
I don't know.
Slow down, be safe.
I mean, I've been at high speeds, but not at that high.
It's dangerous.
No, never past 100.
I think my engine can go that fast. Amazing stuff, folks. Anyway, the hot weather continues. I had to tweak the temperature. Tomorrow's high, it looks at about even 100 degrees. So today we were 101, and we continue with the Dome of Doom and the Summer of our Discontent as we continue with a slight chance of a sprinkle coming in. And I'm hoping. You know what? I already washed my car, and I got a little bit of rain. I'm thinking we should do that again.
Yeah.
Wash your car. What other remedies do we have?
Well, I mean, that's what we sacrifice the car wash it on Thursday, Friday, and then see what happens on the weekend.
Well, I washed mine yesterday morning. Does that count, or do I need to go again
It's
tonight?
good. Thank you for your effort.
Contribution.
And I think we should all contribute.
I'll go wash. Okay, I think Petunia, by the way, my car's name is Petunia.
Oh, really? How
Yes,
cute.
I think Petunia needs a good shower, so,
Well,
maybe that will help.
be a good
Any
time.
way I can.
Petunia would like to be cooled down a little bit.
Yeah, Petunia would like that for sure.
Thank you, Mac. Thank you for being with us.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.